Welcome to One Drink, Three Bars, the channel where I show you how to make cocktails at home. Next, I go out and order the same drink at 3 different bars to see how the pros do it. At the end, we'll compare the 3 drinks and see how my amateur home version stacks up. Today we're covering the Negroni. For such a special classic cocktail, I decided to venture through the Great Smoky Mountains National Park into the town of Cherokee, North Carolina, home to Harrah's Cherokee Casino. I'll make my version of the Negroni in a hotel room there. It's simple enough to make one on the go. We'll visit Wicked Weed Brewing for their unique spin. Then we'll go to Brio Tuscan Grille for a more traditional version. Finally, we'll head back to Knoxville for a Negroni Bianco at Brother Wolf, a new and welcome addition to a part of town called the Old City. Let's head to Cherokee. I'll see you at the casino in a little bit. So I'm in my hotel room here at Harrah's Cherokee, and I've unpacked my little Negroni making kit that I prepared ahead of time at home. I've taken some of my Campari and put it into one of my leftover shaker and spoon jars, and I have a new bottle of sweet vermouth and a couple mini bottles of gin. And I find it interesting that these are both 50 milliliter bottles. This one looks a lot bigger. And I'm not sure if you're actually getting a little bonus or if maybe the glass is just way thicker than the plastic of this one. I'm kind of curious to compare them, so I was thinking of pouring them both into the same type of glass side by side. I think I'll try that. This is the Campari in a little thin plastic bottle. These are typically 50 milliliters or about 1.5 ounces. Then I'm going to pour the greenhouse in this one and see if there's more. Looks about the same. This is just a much sturdier, thicker bottle than this little one. So I think I'll use the greenhouse since I've never had it before. And so I guess these really are 1.5 ounces. I may make another one in here later. So before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and get some ice out of this ice bucket that looks like it's possibly from the Clinton administration. This room has been refreshed, but some of the things in here look to be the original things that they included with it, like this table and this ice bucket, but that's fine. I got the room for free, so I'm not going to complain too much. I've stayed in some more modern, sleeker rooms at the same place. Like I said, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Now that I've got that in there, I know we had 1.5 ounces in our mini, and it's a 1:1:1 ratio, so I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of the Campari and 1.5 ounces of the vermouth. This drink couldn't be much simpler. And I brought an orange from home so I could make a garnish for it, and I also threw my mini orange bitters in case I didn't want to go through bringing the knife and stuff, but why not? And I mean, it would be fine to do it that way if you really were unexpectedly in a hotel room needing to make one of these. And like I said, this was also a perfect one to build in a hotel room because you build it over ice and stir it. You don't build it in the shaker, so that was one less thing that you would need. Give this a taste. These are good. And I'm gonna chill out and relax with this in my room for a bit, and then I'm gonna check out a few of the restaurants here at Harrah's Cherokee. Got our bitters, and looks like the gin.
Is that Cardinal gin?
And the most interesting part, the Wicked Weed cider. I normally don't do this when places are busy, but this is even like busy on a Thursday.
Right?
It must be good.
Yeah.
Most people aren't even willing to be on here, so it's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers. So I'm here with some of my new friends at the Wicked Weed Brewing in Harrah's, Cherokee. This is their Wicked Negroni. It's very similar to the one I made, but instead of the vermouth, it uses their Wicked Weed cider. Pretty tasty, and they're busy even though it's a Thursday night, but they are very gracious and nice about being on the video, so 2 thumbs up, Wicked Weed. Okay, Brio, the Tuscan Grille upstairs at Harrah's next to Wicked Weed, was open already. So I was able to order a Negroni. There's a very nice bartender. Her name is Nikki, but she's camera shy. So she told me that this has Beefeater Gin, Martini and Rossi Vermouth, and Campari. It's almost exactly like the one I made. And it's just as good. And you know they always taste better when someone else makes them. Let's head back to Knoxville. So I'm back in Knoxville and I have found a third place that I want to try a variation on the Negroni. And this is a new place in the old city called Brother Wolf, and I have very high hopes for it. It looks like a really awesome place, so let's go check it out.
I'm a bartender at Brother Wolf, and today I'm going to make my favorite drink on the menu, the Negroni Bianco. So I'm going to start off with ice. I always start with ice, you can never have too much. Special about this drink, first of all we use PostModern Gin, so that's a local distillery. It's going to be super herbaceous, not like your traditional London classic gin. So we start with that. I use 0.75 of each ingredient. It's 3 ingredients total. We also use bianco vermouth, so that's a white vermouth. It's going to be slightly less bitter and, dare I say, sweet in comparison to like a traditional Negroni. And then we use Luxardo bitter. So all Negronis have 3 components: a bittering agent, a vermouth, usually sweet vermouth, but in this case, white vermouth, and then gin, usually. But the fun thing about working here is our Negronis have, we have a whole list of Negroni variants. So we have like an Old Pal that's going to be rye, or a Boulevardier, which will be bourbon. It's a fan favorite. People love the Boulevardier in the South because we're in bourbon territory. But for instance, for the Old Pal, we would use dry vermouth. So it's not always sweet vermouth. It's not always gin. But those 3 components, a base spirit, a vermouth, and a bittering agent, an aperitivo, if you will, are the important components of a Negroni. So I stir a lot, and I make sure I test. I fill the glass to make sure it's cold, and then I dirty dump. And then when I have a surplus, I just throw that in my sink. Always clean your station, and squeeze a lemon. So, this Negroni Bianco is going to be a slightly sweeter, great summer take, great Negroni for beginners. Enjoy. Thanks.
Alright, so that's a wrap. Let's enjoy a Negroni at home while we go over the findings. Oh, but first, I've got to show you these awesome coasters that I just received from Carl and Riley over at Alchemix Bar. They're custom-made wooden coasters, and they have 4 different classic cocktail recipes on them with the ingredients around the edge, and they included cards with in-depth instructions. And there happened to be one with the Negroni. Anyway, back to the findings. Our first stop was the Wicked Weed Brewing Company inside Harrah's Cherokee Casino. Now, Wicked Weed Brewing has been around in Asheville, North Carolina for quite some time, but they recently expanded their restaurant offerings into the casino. Wicked Weed Brewing Company offers a version of the Negroni called the Wicked Negroni. Instead of using sweet vermouth like most Negronis, Wicked Weed uses their very own farmhouse cider, and this creates a really interesting, kind of refreshing spritzer type version of the Negroni. And of course they use Campari, they use Cardinal Gin, and the cost of this Wicked Negroni was $15. And the Wicked Weed Brewing Company's cocktail menu was so good, and the bartender Mark was so friendly and helpful that I decided to order a second drink called the Caribbean Quarantine. It was like a really good tiki drink. My next stop was Brio Tuscan Grille, also inside Harrah's. I dropped in at around 11 a.m. the next day to get ahead of the lunch rush. There was a really nice bartender named Nikki working there. Nikki didn't want to be included in the video, but she told me the Negroni she made included Beefeater Gin, Campari, and Martini and Rossi Sweet Vermouth. I would say it was very by the book, classic, and it cost $11. My third stop was Brother Wolf here in Knoxville. I was hoping, since they have a very extensive Negroni menu, that I'd find a different riff than I found anywhere else, and they didn't disappoint. AJ was the bartender there, and as you saw, she should probably just take this channel over. She was an awesome speaker, and she made a really interesting and different drink. AJ's version of the Negroni was called the Negroni Bianco. She used a local gin called PostModern Spirits Gin, which is what I happen to be using now. Instead of the sweet vermouth, she used a white vermouth, and for the bittering agent, she used Luxardo Bianco. This resulted in another light and refreshing Negroni, and as she said, it would be a really good Negroni for beginners. The Negroni at Brother Wolf was $11. So out of all of the Negronis I tried, it was really hard to pick a favorite. I mean, Anthony Bourdain's favorite drink was the Negroni, so it's kind of hard to go wrong with one. I did appreciate the experimentation with the Wicked Negroni, using the cider, as well as the white Negroni. And you can never go wrong with the standard. So if you like this content, hit that subscribe button below. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. They included really nice quality cards with them about how to make each of them. And appropriately enough, the Negroni is one of them.